Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This video we are with Dream Trips yet again, but this time we are in Rome. So if you're ever here for the Dream Trips, you're going to stay at the hotel right behind me. It's the NH Collection Roma Palazzo, and it is literally a stone's throw away from the Roma Termini train station, also a metro stop too. So what we did was we took the train from Munich into Rome and we ended up right there, and it was literally just a couple-minute walk to our hotel. So it's a very, very nice hotel. It even has like a rooftop terrace slash bar that I'll show you in a bit. But it's nice proximity to the metro station for sure, and then the train station when we arrived. So I hope you enjoy the rest of my Rome video.
On our first day, we went to visit the Vatican City and take a tour of the Vatican museums.
So that's the dome of the St. Peter Basilica, I think. Our tour guide said that Acorn is 2,000 years old. So this is called the Acorn Courtyard.
The main draw is, of course, the Sistine Chapel, but there's plenty of other stuff to see. Plenty of sculptures and paintings, and you actually can't film or take pictures inside the Sistine Chapel. But what I learned throughout our walkthrough is look around everywhere. Look at the floors, look at the ceilings, because you never know what you're going to find. It was just so pretty. So even though the Sistine Chapel was at the end, I just enjoyed walking around throughout the whole thing and seeing all that there was to offer. So it was about a 2-hour walking tour that included the museums and the Sistine Chapel. But this was by far my favorite room. It was called the Hall of Maps, or the map room. So there's those pretty pictures of maps on the sides, and then the ceiling is just covered in paintings, just all the way down this long corridor. So I thought this was actually even prettier than the Sistine Chapel. So that was our first day in Rome.
So we just started our walking tour here at the Church of the Trinity, and we just learned that this obelisk right here has Egyptian hieroglyphics on it, because it was the Romans' way of saying that we used to, you know, have a large territory, including Egypt and Africa and all of Europe. So we're saying, like, yes, we still owned Egypt. And then down here, we're gonna start walking down the Spanish steps. So we just learned why it's called the Spanish Steps. There's a Spanish building right here with the flag, and it was actually the Americans that called it the Spanish Steps. It's actually called the Scalinati de Trinity from the church. So steps of the Church of the Trinity. So those darn Americans, they ruin everything.
Our next stop was the famous Trevi Fountain. It is huge, and this is about 10:30 in the morning or so, and you can see already how crowded it is. But what you're supposed to do is you take a coin in your right hand and you throw it over your left shoulder, And then every Monday, the Red Cross comes and takes the coins out of the fountain for donation.
So the obelisk behind me, there's actually 13 obelisks in Rome, and this one was from 600 BC, and they took them out of Egypt and brought them here to Rome. So it wasn't brought here in 600 BC, that's just where it's from. So it's got the ancient Egyptian little hieroglyphics on it. So there's 13 of those in Rome. Ah!
The next stop on the tour was the Pantheon, and we didn't go inside. Our tour guide just told us a little bit about it from the outside, but you can see how long the line is to get inside, so we didn't end up doing this at all, which was completely fine. I just liked walking by it.
This is the Piazza Navona. It used to be a large stadium for athletic displays, but then when that was over, they built up instead all these buildings, this church, this fountain, there's another obelisk, and there's another fountain over there, and another one over there. Now we're doing a pizza making class. So we've got our aprons, the stations are all set up. Looks like we're going to make some dough first.
So first you take your portion of flour and you make a little hole like a volcano. And then you take your water and pour just a little bit, maybe half of your water into the volcano. You're going to use the rest of it later. And then you take a pinch of salt.
How much? A pinch.
Just a pinch.
Okay.
And then a little bit of olive oil. She said 3 seconds of olive oil, so about 1, 2, 3. Then you take the yeast. This was like a paste yeast, and dip it in, and then just kind of start mushing it around. And then what you do is you just start bringing in a little bit of flour at a time. It's a very long process. It took us quite a while, but ever so gently just keep bringing in the flour into the center of your volcano. So it looks like this.
Neapolitan style pizza and the Roman one?
No.
So we do that for a while, and then I ended up having to use a little bit more water, but the key is you don't want to put too much water because then you're going to ruin the dough. So what Jeremy did was he put too much water on his dough, and he's going to pay for it later. So you just start making your ball, and you're going to want to take all of the flour from the whole plate. So again, a lengthy process. But once you get your ball going, then you do this press and roll technique. So you're just kneading the dough, and the chef told us you want it to be like a little bit sticky. You can add more flour if you need to, like Jeremy's going to need a little bit more flour. But again, you don't want to just keep adding water. So I think this is the mistake we made when we tried to make pizza at home one time, is that we just like kept adding flour and water, and it was ruined. But she says that mine looks okay. She said perfecto. So again, just keep pressing and rolling.
It's better a little bit sticky than dry.
And after that, we have to close the dough. So you do it once and twice, kind of a hamburger, and then pinch it at the bottom and roll.
With one finger I close, with the other hand I roll. I also keep going to close.
Then put it on the plate and cup and rotate. And when you want to press your finger on it, you want it to just spring right back. Just like that. So the dough we were making, it was just for practice because you have to let the dough rise for about 2 days, 2 hours outside the fridge, and then the rest of the 2 days in the fridge. So we're going to use already pre-made dough.
Now, which is the rolling pin? Look at me. From the center to the top, and we go to the end, and from the center again, but down. And now we need the oval.
Ah, we're making an oval.
Non gigante, not like a gigante, but horizontale. Okay, and now the same. Over the top and under. Okay, we leave the rolling pin on top because they are raw tomatoes, raw sauce with just salt, olive oil and oregano. Nothing more. Okay, and now you leave 1 full spoon in the middle. From the center, start running, go all around. Okay, but stay inside the crust. Okay, you see? A little space for the crust. This is really important. Okay? Now, I give you a full spoon in the middle. If you can leave me a little space.
What we did was we pushed all the flour away and then had to pat our crust so we didn't have flour on top.
Ham, cooked ham, raw ham, spicy salami.
So for my toppings, I did zucchini, cherry tomatoes, and ham. And of course, Jeremy did sausage and spicy salami.
Here's my pizza.
Really delicious.
Really good. Best pizza. Best pizza.
Like it?
So our tour guide told us if you just turn a corner in Rome, you'll just find out some amazing surprises. So we're just walking back to the hotel and came across some ruins. And what she explained to us was that Rome was built a lot lower. Like you can see, you know, all of this is down below. But then when they've had the ruins or when there was an earthquake or whatever, instead of bulldozing it all down and taking away all the rubble, they just built on top. So you can see the roads are built just on top of the ruins, and that's what they did throughout all the center of town too, because it was just a lot easier to build on top of things because the ruins served as a foundation than it was to clean it up and start all over. So that's pretty neat. Alright, so when we were on our tour today, our guide, where were we by? We were by the Pantheon, and there was a place called Venki Ice Cream, and our guide said, you have to go to that ice cream. And I said, okay, and she said, oh, by the way, there's one at the train station by your hotel. I was like, oh my gosh. So after dinner, we just went inside the train station, and yes, I found the Venki Ice Cream. And look, they made the cone for me just now. She dipped it in chocolate and then put these like sprinkle, I don't even know what they are, on it. And then I got this caramelized hazelnut and this custard one. and it's melting on me right now, but it is probably the second best gelato I've ever had. We are right next to our hotel, so I'm probably gonna come here again tomorrow night and get ice cream. I have to figure out when they close, but yeah. And then when we take the train back to Rome, no, back from Rome to Munich, I'll probably do it again. So very, very good. Right here at the Roma Termini train station. Venki ice cream. Included in this dream trip is a 24-hour hop-on, hop-off bus tour. So you can hop on at different places, and one of the stops is actually at the Coliseum. And then we're just going to ride it around just because we can. Sit on a nice bus and take in the sights of Rome.
Is it possible for the nice
So for the Colosseum, I got the full experience tour because that includes going to see the arena. If you just get the regular entrance ticket, you don't get to go down to the arena. So I paid extra for the arena inclusion, and then you have to wear a mask when you are outside, even in the Colosseum, even though you're outside. So we're gonna go see the arena first. So down here, these are the corridors where they kept the animals, we think. And you could have paid for, again, an extra tour that takes you through the corridors, but it was a max of 20 people, so it was all booked up, so I couldn't get that one. So we just have to look at it from above. I didn't know this, but there's actually exhibitions on one of the levels of the Colosseum. So you can see remnants of things that they found when it was excavated, like skulls and bones of animals, as well as some other artifacts. So not just look at the Colosseum, but you can look at all of the artifacts of it too. So it was in the 6th century that the spectacles ended, and then in the 11th century was when they started changing it into something else, so either like stables for horses, or at one point botanical gardens. So there's a painting here of what it used to look like with just like overgrown vegetation and stuff, so that would be really cool to see at that point. Too bad, now it's just rocks.
Looking back on it now, the full experience tour just includes the addition of the arena, just walking down in that white space there. So I don't think it was worth it for the extra 4 or 6 euros or whatever it was, but it was still pretty cool, but you can get still good views without the full experience tour.
So whenever you exit the Colosseum, right there, you just come straight across, and there's a free water station. So you can get still or sparkling water and refill your water bottle. So if you ever see free water in Europe, definitely take advantage of it, because that's not a typical thing. And it's really hot, so it's perfect to refill your hydration source after walking through that hot Colosseum. Included in the Colosseum tour, the Colosseum ticket is also entrance to the Palatine Hill. So that's where we are right now.
Again, more ruins if you're into that sort of thing, but they also have a museum, an air-conditioned museum that you can go in and cool off because it is still very hot. And remember, whenever you're in a museum, always, always, always look up, because you never know what you're going to find. We didn't stay too long at the Palatine Hill because it was so hot, so we were just ready to go back to the hotel at this point.
Also, right outside of our hotel, there's this gigantic wall, just right here, in the front yard of the hotel. Come to find out, it's the ruins of the wall from ancient Rome that outlined the area of the city. So technically on the other side of that wall, that was Rome. And then we are just outside of the ancient city of Rome. So it was pretty funny that they just left it up there. And right now it just blocks the hotel from the train station. So I think it was very strategically placed, the hotel, utilizing the barrier from the ruins of the ancient wall. Everywhere you go in Rome, ruins.
And that was our 3-day trip to Rome. Thank you guys so much for watching.